Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode number 18 of the Dota Show. I am your host, LD. I'm a very tired man, I'll tell you. I woke up today at 5 a.m., went to the gym at 7, casted for 10 hours, did VODs for another 4, slipped my wrist for the last 2, and here I am. Alright, no, I'm just kidding. But I'm pretty tired nowadays. I've mentioned this in the previous couple episodes, and in a good way. I'm happily tired, engaged, enjoying what I'm doing. But here's the thing. I don't have the best memory for random little stories that happen. And this was the case even before I started casting or, doing something that just takes a lot of energy out of you, takes a lot of time. So I don't know if anybody else is the same as me, but I've taken to just texting myself everything. And no, that was not a product placement. I'm not getting paid by Samsung. But so I hear a song I like, or it's like, oh yeah, I have that awesome song that I love to play and listen to, but for some reason it's on my stream playlist. All right, I'm gonna get it on there. So I text myself song names. I text myself, oh, you need to email this person, or you need to, call that person, or you need to go get some random food or whatever, a trash bag, whatever. I don't know. Maybe for you guys it's all up in the head, but my brain is absolutely scattered. So I call it bad genetics. So Mom, if you're listening, please don't kill me. I love you. You're the best. Not really. She's very forgetful though. Okay, so anyway, I've been texting myself little like funny anecdotes that I think you guys will enjoy. So here we go. Here's the first one that happened. So I finally had a couple days off, right? I've been casting for I don't know if you guys have been watching Beyond the Summit. I assume at least some of you have, the World Tour. Anyway, waking up, casting from 9 a.m. until anywhere from 3 to 5 p.m. on average. Sometimes it's a little bit shorter. But I had 2 days off, or 3 days off actually, starting last Thursday. So one of my good friends comes in from out of town, and I decide let's get together. And then he likes to drink. I could use a few drinks, so we start drinking together. Anyway, we have a long night. It's a lot of fun. And then I wake up the next day, and I'm hungry, and he's hungry too. And we were feeling a little slothful, as sometimes happens after a night of drinking. And so we decided we're gonna make some bacon, right? Seems like a pretty simple concept: bacon, eggs. It was a delicious breakfast, but see, here's what happened. I didn't feel like cleaning up two, what are they called? Frying pans. So I do the eggs in one. I didn't microwave them. I'm sure you guys are happy about that. And in the other, instead of using a frying pan for the bacon, what I do instead is I put it in the microwave. And when you microwave bacon, normally you put paper towels on top and on the bottom of it to sort of soak up the grease. So anyway, I do this, right? And I cook the bacon. Looks good, comes out of the microwave. And then I try to separate the bacon from the paper towels. And normally this is a very, easy process. It's like the Band-Aid just comes right off. But in this case, they were sticking. So I grabbed the bacon, which of course it's been in the microwave, it's been cooked. It's extremely scaldingly hot. And I'm like, ow, oh shit, that hurts. And now a smart person would stop at this point, like, I'm burning myself. Maybe I should try and find a tool to help me separate the bacon from the paper towel. But me, being an Ivy League graduate, being someone who did very well in his SATs, I'm a smart person. So instead, I grab the bacon, I start pulling at it again, and I'm slowly working it out from the paper towels. But the entire time, it's ow, fuck, shit, god damn it. And yes, I know maybe some kids are watching, and I'm sorry for the foul language, but this was what was happening. I'm giving you the honest truth. So this goes on for like literally 30 seconds. My friend Tom is half asleep and is like, what is going on over there? He finally gets up from the couch because he's feeling pretty lazy. He walks over, he's like, why don't you use a fork? And then just to complete the humiliation, he grabs a fork and, separates the bacon and the paper towels in 10 seconds flat. All right, so that was the first funny thing that happened to me this week. I'm more the butt of the joke than anything else. But yeah, it's always the food stories with me. Alright, so here's the other funny thing that happened. I'm going to the gym, right? And I drive there because it's kind of far away. So I drive to the gym. I go to park my car, and I live in Philly, so there's just pigeons all over the place. Like if you've never been to a major U.S. city before, pigeons are the absolute worst infestation. Worse than mice, worse than rats, worse than any sort of insects. Maybe not the biggest nuisance, but in terms of just how many there are everywhere, there's a lot of friggin' pigeons. I drive my car up to go park, and the damn pigeons won't move. These animals have no survival instinct, I swear to God. I start rolling forward at like 2 miles an hour, honking my horn. They don't move, so I back the car up, about, I want to say like 10, 15 feet. Then I slam on the gas going at them, and they're still just waddling around eating breadcrumbs. I literally had to go around the pigeons. These are the dumbest animals I've ever seen. There is no survival instinct whatsoever. Oh, and I thought I was stupid and forgetful. Anyway. Alright, let's dive right into it, guys. So, today we're going to be focusing on a carry hero. I play a lot of carries. I like my farm. I like my big kill scores. I like wearing the crown, if you will. So, we're going to look at Spectre this week. And, well, I'm going to be honest, guys. The main reason we're looking at Spectre is because I've gotten to play like 5 games in the past week, and this was the one that I felt was actually instructional. So, I know a lot of you have been, especially on YouTube, have been saying, oh, you'd like support heroes, you'd like more variety. I would like more too, and I promise you in the future there will be more. I think for the most part I've been doing semi-carries, so we'll call this somewhat of a diversion, but for this week it will be Spectre. And I'll try and make it as interesting as possible, and, well, we'll see how it goes. So let's dive right into it. Have I really had multiple bacon-related stories? Why is this not working? Oh, I don't have that open. There you go. Now you guys have some video. Okay, so we're going to be watching me play Spectre this game, and I'm going to skip ahead until the actual game. Okay, we're a little farther ahead than I would like, but that's okay. Alright, so I am playing Spectre, and it's a solo Kunkka in the top lane, so I have Warlock supporting me. Unfortunately, this is probably the worst possible support for actually getting kills. Why is it not showing my perspective? There you go. Thank you, game. Thank you, Dota. Okay, so I'm playing Spectre. Now, Spectre is pretty item dependent, which means last hitting is important. I random, so I started the Quelling Blade and Stout Shield. Generally, this is what I recommend you go for if you random. If you don't, then just normally you want to start with just the Stout Shield. If you're going to have an easy lane, you can go for Quelling Blade. Off the bat, I turned it into a poor man's shield. I don't really know why I did this. I really don't need to do it, because generally you only have poor man's shield if a hero is harassing you. It'll help a little bit against Kunkka's auto attacks, but really, I shouldn't have to worry about it. I'm pretty concerned because they have 2 heroes off the map. Little do I know they're double jungling, so you can see me playing rather passively. If you're wondering why, that's why. Sooner or later, I get the idea. You're gonna see me miss a bunch of last hits. Again, if you're playing a hard carry, why does it do that? Let go. Let go. What is it? Okay. What the? Are you kidding me? It won't let me. It won't let go. Look at this. Can anybody explain to me why this is happening? You guys are seeing this, right? I can't like unstick it. Alright. Help? Please. Alright, this is the first time I'm gonna involve the chat. Guys, can you help me with this problem I'm having? Seriously? I have no I guess I can reload the replay. Hit escape. I hit escape. That's not working. Let's try this. That's not working. Oh boy, let's try watching the replay. What the hell is... Oh, Dota's trolling me today. I don't think I had auto speed. No, it's doing it again! Alright, directed. Look at this! Oh, you guys are such trolls. But seriously, I guess I'm gonna have to restart my Dota. So, sorry. Hopefully it works this time. If anybody actually knows what this bug is, feel free to tell me how to fix it, because I am clearly bad at computers. Like, it's not, like, look, it's not just my mouse button being depressed, because I'm, like, hovering over other stuff and it's not clicking on it, so that's not it. Bad at bacon and computers. Thanks, Holy One. Actually, DC Tur, I don't think I did know that, to be totally honest. I might have guessed it correctly, but I don't think I knew it for sure. Oh, you know what? Instead of clicking on that bar, which I think is bugged, what's the hotkey to actually change the replay? Oh, equal. Okay, I'll just do that. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. All right, let's jump into this and cool. It's not doing that thing it was doing. All right, so I don't really want to focus on the farming part or anything like that. This was pretty late at night. You guys might have seen me. I actually did. Oh, yeah. Sorry. There you go. There's your video. I don't really want to focus on the farming. And if you want to see perfect last hitting, go elsewhere. This was not a good game by me. I'm not a pro either. I've even seen some people on YouTube are like, oh, you know, you made these mistakes. Really, like I'm not a perfect player. I don't claim to be. But what you should be focusing on isn't the mistakes I'm making, but if they're mistakes, what you can do to improve them. So rather than just flaming, just try and be constructive about it. I don't care, like I'm not offended, but you're kind of wasting your own time if you're trying to just make a point that I'm bad. So anyway, focus on how to play Spectre. So I pick up an early poor man shield. Again, more appropriate if there's a ranged hero in your lane. Kind of unnecessary here. But in the end, shouldn't be too big of a deal. It does give you a little bit of bonus damage, and it helps if even if he's going to auto-attack you, it's still pretty effective. Or not him, I should say, but the creeps, it still gives you the stout shield bonus, so it's not bad in that regard. I actually thought Enchantress was offensive jungling as well, which is why I bought it, but really better to wait. Either way, I'm in a situation where I'm up against a Kunkka, and I'm starting to realize he's solo at this point, and you're going to see me start to play a lot more aggressively. And this is one thing I think a lot of players struggle with when they're playing carries is, especially if they think they're just supposed to farm, they ignore doing anything else. And off the bat, you're going to see I take 2 points of Desolate. I've realized that it's just a Kunkka here, and I want to be aggressive. Generally, you'll see most Spectres get points in Dispersion early, and that is great, and it's often the correct build, or even occasionally stats. If you're up against a difficult lane, if you're up against a lane that can harass you, that can do damage. But if you're up against a lane like this, where it's just a Kunkka, a hero that can't do a damn thing to really hurt you, adjust your build to fit the lane. And in this case, this is a lane where it's a melee hero who can't really harass me that well. I want to make him as visual as possible. When he's out of lane, I'm just focusing on last hitting. You're gonna see I miss an awful lot of last hits. I sort of catch up as we go along. But, not the best last hitting performance by any stretch. Okay, so I talked about being aggressive in terms of the skill build, right? Because I expected this to be a Kunkka here, although he's not here, he's just ganking. But it's not just the skill build, it's the entire way that you skill the character and the way that you play. So in this case, I'm not only going to build aggressively with max out Dagger as well as Dispersion, or Desolate, excuse me. I'm also going to itemize my character aggressively, which means going for early phase boots. Now, normally you'll see Spectres get a Ring of Health for the regen. If you're being harassed in lane, that is the correct build to go for. But in this case, I'm not actually dealing with harassment. I'm dealing with the lane where I just want to get kills, and oh, here we see it. Kunkka comes in, he tries to farm, and with these early phase boots picked up and Desolate, dodging the torrent, this is a very easy kill. If I had just regular boots, if I had a Ring of Health, I'm probably not getting that kill, especially if I have Dispersion. That would definitely mean I don't get the kill. So,
double damage.
One thing I sort of want you guys to think about next time you play a carry hero, especially if it's someone like a Morphlane who can be very aggressive early on. I mean, I feel it even applies to heroes like Anti-Mage, even Faceless Void, who a lot of people, I feel he's one of the best heroes to be aggressive on in 1v1 situation. Even at level 1, his base damage is really high. He hits very hard, especially if you get a couple lucky bashes or backtracks. Be aggressive intelligently, and you want to recognize these opportunities. Now, let's say I'm laning against, I don't know, the Rubik and the Kunkkas and dual lane. Then I probably don't build this way. I get Dispersion, I get stats even maybe. I definitely get the 4-man shield to deal with the Rubik's right-click, and I maybe get an early Ring of Health instead of phase boots. But because of the lane, I'm making some adjustments to my build, and, well, we're about 7 minutes in, 34 CS, 5 CS a minute. It's decent. It's not amazing, it's not horrible. Either way, we'll speed things up again. Yeah, I agree with you, Holy One. Dispersion is a fantastic passive, but it only helps you if you're taking a lot of damage. And if Kunkka's running from you, it's not really going to do that much. Also, keep in mind, and actually I should talk about the abilities real quickly. Keep in mind for Dispersion that it's only a percentage damage reflected. So if I only have 700 health, that means, let's say I don't have Dispersion, then after I take about 750 damage, it's a little bit more when you factor in things like armor and magic resistance. But after I take that set amount of damage, which is pretty low, I'm dead. So I can't actually disperse that much because my HP pool is very low. If I'm a Spectre in the late game with a heart, a manta, a butterfly, all these big items, then I could disperse an absolute crap load of damage. But this early on, look at Desolate. That's flat bonus damage. That's pure damage, and it's a flat amount. These flat skills in a lot of situations will actually be better than the percentage-based ones. Now, again, dispersion much better defensively, much better against the difficult lane. But anyway, I digress. So, I'm farming. Because my opponent's out of the lane, I'm aggressively working on the tower, trying to bring it down. One thing I probably should be doing is pulling this wave. Not really to farm the pull, but just to get myself more of a creep wave going. If you pull, what happens is your creep wave will kill off this or this, and then they'll stack up. So then you get like a wave and a half, maybe even 2 waves, depending on how many times you stack that camp first and how many times you pull. And then it makes it much easier for you to push. The other thing I could have done, which I probably should have, is gotten an early rate of Basilius. This tower would be dead by now if I had one. And, well, when you knock down these towers, it really does limit your opponent's map control. It also limits their ability to farm safely. And it's your way to contribute without actually coming to team fights. Here's the thing about Spectre as a hero, and something you should understand with him as a carry, is he's very unique. He can always be farming, and as long as his ultimate's up, if there's a fight breaking out, you can join that fight. And you're going to see, you just saw my camera was over here, even while I'm going to farm the pull. This is something you need to work on whenever you're playing Spectre. Make sure that you're always watching the minimap. He has this global ultimate in the form of Haunt, where you can always just show up to a fight. So if you have good minimap awareness, whenever you see those enemy icons showing up, look at the minimap. Look for those opportunities to engage. If you're not constantly watching the minimap of Spectre, you're doing it wrong. Oh, and I'm sorry, it is a she, not a he. Actually, I think it's kind of an asexual creature, but you're right. My apologies. Alright, so Treant comes into the lane, right? And what do? I immediately start trading right clicks. Now, normally, you don't really want to do this, but I have phase boots, he doesn't. I have a higher level than him. I have 2 points of Desolate. I also have Dagger maxed out. Treant, although he's got 929 health, he actually can't 1v1 me. And we're going to see, he makes a big mistake. He doesn't have a single point in Nature's Guise, which, by the way, this is a major no-no as Treant Protector. But either way, he's going to end up going down for his trouble. I think he's going to go... Yep, Desolate. There you go. Now, the opponents, obviously, they're not playing this properly. You don't want to lane under-leveled, under-farm melee heroes against Spectre, especially one who's getting Desolate early on. So I'm going to buy a TP and go heal. I'm prepared to ult back in if I see an opportunity in a fight. For the moment, I don't. But that's why you see me checking the minimap. And again, that's the key thing to do. If you do nothing else with Spectre, the one thing you should always do is watch the damn minimap. Let me try that again. Let me make sure I'm being clear here. I want you to watch the damn minimap. Not really. It's important. Right, but it's especially important. Subfish are completely right. You should always be watching the minimap as any hero. But when you're playing a hero that can globally gank like a Prophet, a Spectre, it is infinitely more important. So I dagger onto him, and we're going to see, as long as he's near those creeps, Desolate doesn't hurt, but once he's away, he really gets chewed up. He tries to salve, tries to 1v1 me, and this is not going to work. Something I actually, not sure if you guys caught it, so let me rewind real quick. Okay, so I go in, right, I'm attacking Kunkka, he's going to drop low, Burrow Strike comes through, and he throws the Torn up, it locks me in place. Watch how I use the dagger here. I walk past Kunkka, and then I turn around and I throw a dagger. Well, I think I do, actually. Maybe not. This is what you should be doing. The dagger will hit right below you, so I walk next to Kunkka, then dagger onto the Treant. I make sure I hit both heroes and get the double kill as a result. This is something very important to do whenever you're playing a carry, but especially one like Spectre. Whenever you can last hit a kill, do it. Never be afraid to steal kills from your teammates as Spectre or as any other hard carry, because ultimately that gold is going to do more on you than it will on pretty much any other hero. Okay, but I digress, and back into the game we go. Early Vitality Booster picked up, and here we go. Desolate, couple right clicks. He tries to steal Dagger, but unfortunately I already have Dagger up. Now, this would be a little bit over-aggressive, and I am wisely going to back the hell out. And I'm going to look to TP. Fortunately, he doesn't have a point in X. Yep, has not gotten a point. Normally, Kunkka won't at that stage in the game, which is what I was banking on. Now, I go for a Vitality booster. A lot of players will turn this into a Vanguard. I want to discourage you from doing that unless you really need the regen early game. Vanguard is an item that it's great if you get it early, it's great if you need the Ring of Health, but it's hugely wasted if you don't, and especially if you have Poor Man's Shield. This is also something I do a lot on Anti-Mage, is just get the Vitality booster as well as the Poor Man's Shield, and then skip the Vanguard. And you could turn this Vitality booster later on into something like a Heart of Terras, which is much better as far as a late game item goes. If you need regen and you're an anti-mage, I even go Battle Fury and I'll just have the Vitality booster for HP. In Spectre's case, you don't want a Battle Fury. So anyway, I go back to farming, and well, this is that boring part of the game. We're not going to worry too much about it.
Never.
But again, constantly scanning the minimap. I'm not even that good about it, although I'd say I did decently in this game. Last hitting as best you can, but if you miss a few last hits, you're going to see I ping, I ult in. I told my team to drop the Warlock ult, also to combo in, and I actually go in, I hunt in. I used reality to the wrong illusion. I really should have used it to one of these, but I think it works out anyway. The reason I say to one of these is that hero was already dead. That's like using a Laguna Blade on a hero with about 10 HP. But you can see one Desolate right click just absolutely butchers that PA. Actually, is Desolate bugged? It seems like it's working when it shouldn't be in this game. No, I guess not. So this is what's unique about Spectre, right? And it's the ultimate. It's not Desolate. It's not Dispersion. It's not the fact that she's kind of a hero that does damage by being alive, which is pretty unique. The thing that's really unique about Spectre is that she can join the fight at any time while farming. So you can farm, be as efficient as possible, and then instantly show up to the team fight when you need to. We're going to see this also as a lot of other applications later in the game. One of the biggest ones being when you have buyback available. You can actually fight, die once, and then buy back and instantly rejoin the fight. Like a Nature's Prophet, except you do a hell of a lot more damage, generally speaking. So I'm farming. I'm gonna go for a Relic Rush here. It's not really a fast Relic. I've gotten a lot of cheap utility items. Spades Boots, Vitality Booster, Poor Man's Shield, Quelling Blade, the magic stick, not the wand. But I'm gonna stop at this point and just go for a Relic. So this is that stage of the game where I've had a good start. It's pretty clear that my team needs my help. We actually look at the gold graph and experience graph. They're winning by quite a bit. So if you think we're ahead just because I'm having a good score, you're wrong. I'm 6-0-2. I am the highest farmer in the game, but look at the next three. It's Rubik, it's the Enchantress, and the PA. So when you're in this kind of situation, you need to get a big game-breaking item, which in the case of Spectre is a Radiance. If you want to go for those utility items that ganker build, that can work. Diffusal Blade might have been effective in this game, but I personally feel like when your team's this far behind, when they're kind of this dead weight, or when they're feeling like dead weight, that's where you need to go for that 1v5 build. So big team fight breaks out mid. I scan the area, and this is something else I want to point out to you guys. Is as a carry, I was talking a lot about, oh, you want to be aggressive, you want to identify those opportunities to go for pickoffs, but you also want to be calculated about it. Like sometimes you just have to say, okay, you're dead. I'm gonna farm. Be selfish, but intelligently. Like if they're going for your racks, trust me, you're probably not winning if they get it 9 times out of 10 or whatever the number is. It's a high number anyway. That's not intelligent, calculated decision to not help your team. But in this case, I saw Sand King was basically dead. My team was not really in position to do anything. All these heroes are full HP. They're relatively tanky. So I just say, okay, you're dead. I'm just going to keep on farming. Because if you waste that ult, that means they don't have to worry about you instantly joining the fight for, what is it, another 2 minutes? Yeah, another 2 minutes. So, again, you want to be calculated. And this is where scanning the map comes in handy, because what was actually happening in that situation where Sandkane was, this is my friend Yahweh, and Yahweh gets really excited whenever he's about to die, and he's like, LD, help me, guys, help, I'm dying, and your natural reaction is like, oh, press all the buttons as quickly as possible to try and help my teammate. No, you need to assess it for yourself, especially if your teammates are relatively new. Okay, so, farming, I almost have the Relic. That's the other reason I didn't engage. When you get close to the Relic, that's where you need to be real careful. And actually, I'm going to join the fight anyway. The reason I do so is that we have everyone up again, and we're ready for a big fight. So I actually come in, I start taking a lot of damage here, and we're going to see... Do I go down? Not sure. I get digs. And then I go for Prodigy. No, good epicenter by my teammate, and the chase, it will continue. This is the key with Spectre, though, is showing up at the right time. If you show up too early, if you're too aggressive, like if I'm the first one to ult in, they're just gonna run away. So it was key for me to use my ult after the Warlock ult gets dropped, after the Sand King's in position, after the Axe charge is in. And I think I even get this guy, because he's... Oh, Yep, that's a pretty big play. For anyone who didn't see, I started to cast the dagger, I cancel it, and then I just blindly throw one through the trees. A little bit of luck, but that's something that you guys should all know how to do. Whenever you cast a spell, there's a cast animation, and if you want, you can press the S key. Well, this is the default hotkey. Issues the stop command, and you won't actually cast the spell. You can sort of reset, find the better angle, find the right place you want to land it, and then cast it. This is not so important on Spectre, but much more so in here is like the Shrek. Lena would be another great example. So that's called a canceling an animation, or animation canceling, or cast animation canceling if you want to be more precise. So just a little trick to keep in mind there. So I have my relic. I think I just have my Radiance flat out. And this is the beauty of Spectre, is whenever you join a team fight, because your ult is global and it hits everyone, any kills that happen, you get an assist for them, pretty much guaranteed. So I have a Radiance, 19-minute Radiance Vitality Booster, Poor Man's Shield, and we have a really long pause here if I recall correctly. So I'm going to fast forward way through this one. This is really good farm. I see Yahweh dying. I actually tell him to Burrow Strike in the trees and TP away, and he does it, and he gets away. Trust me, this never happens. Yahweh was on crack this game or something. Alright, so I see there's some action top. I TP in to go for the kill on Kunkka. See him drop the torrent, and again, just trying my best to juke it. And he's gonna die to battle hunger. He will die to battle hunger. That was kind of close. So at this point with the Radiance up, you can play sort of like an anti-mage with a Battle Fury, a Morphlane who's got some items, and just look to constantly push lanes. You don't really have to join fights unless there's a big fight breaking out, but simply by standing in the lane and burning the creeps, I'm actually contributing a lot to my team. And, well, here we see our team's big wombo combo. The Fatal Bonds plus the Warlock Ultimate and the Burrow Strike through. And I'm focusing on PA because I really want to keep this PA down. I don't want her to get any kind of farm. We're going to see in the mid to late game, PA can be a real problem for Spectre to deal with. And she's going to live, and that makes me very mad.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Well, we're going to fast forward here because it's just a bit of farming for now. It's a lot of farming, actually. This is what happens when you play a hard carry, guys. You generally have to farm some creeps. Now, I will say, if you want to have fun with Spectre, you can get things like a Diffusal Blade, even a Mask of Madness, a Basher, and just be really aggressive. It's a kind of a cute way to play. It's not very viable. Now, generally, the skill build for Spectre is going to be that you max out your Dagger first, you max out Dispersion second, maybe get a single point in Desolate, and then max it out last. Get your ult whenever you can. That's the general build that you go for. In terms of items, it's normally something like a Phase Boots, Vanguard, and then straight into Radiance. And then from there, you just tank up, whether it's Manta Style, Heart. After you get your big tank items, then you can go back for damage, whether that's Butterfly, which is sort of a tank item too, or maybe even a Diffusal Blade. Sometimes you'll even see things like MKB. But generally, you want to get things to buff up your illusions, so that's where the Butterfly comes into play. And, well, you can see Spectre hits absolutely like a truck. It's not even this, it's just this 50 pure damage, plus the Radiance Burn that does it. So, again, watching the map, I see action bottom. My teammate was talking about being about to die, so I ult in, get another kill. If you take away one thing from this game, it is always, well, two things, I should say. Just because you're a hard carry, just because you can benefit from farm, don't ignore opportunities to get involved early. That's number one. So be aggressive when it makes sense. That's number one. I've worded it like 5 different ways to get the idiot. Number two is, especially when you're playing these global style heroes like a Prophet, a Spectre, watch that damn mini-map. Watch it like a hawk, even if you miss some last hits. I'm actually missing a lot now. I think I was busy talking or something. Or I'm just bad. Either way, it works. And he steals my Haunt. No, okay, he steals Dagger. I think he steals Haunt later on. By the way, this Rubik makes an amazing play this game. So you guys should keep your eyes on for that. Great combo by my team. Sand King might die. That's okay. And you're going to notice in most of these fights, I'm targeting the squishy supports. That's another thing you should try and do, is don't go for their big, tanky, hard carry. Because Spectre is not a hero that quickly bursts things down. It's not like a Morphling. It's not even like an Anti-Mage or a Faceless Void where you can focus down that big, most dangerous hero on the map. Spectre is a hero that more than anything else preys on the weak, preys on these squishy supports. Even though I didn't get too many kills so far, that's what I'm trying to do here. Focus down the Enchantress, focus down the Rubik. Should not be diving this guy. Really should not be diving this guy, but I'm going to try for it. Maybe it'll work out. Oh, is it going to work out? Is it going to work out? Are you really still chasing? LD? You okay? LD? TP up? I'm gonna die here.
Has fallen.
Oh man.
Welcome back.
Actually, a question from Breach Ock. I'm gonna pause and answer this because I think it's a great question. Battle Fury is not a... I'm going to disagree with conventional wisdom and say it's not a horrible item on Spectre. I actually think it's okay. But here's the thing about Spectre, is this is a hero who does damage in two main ways. One is from his illusions from Haunt. And the other is from damage from Dispersion. I actually just gave the middle finger to the camera, just holding up one finger at a time and alternating, but I wasn't showing it, so that's okay. Dispersion is based on how much HP you have, because the more HP you have, the more you can disperse back onto your opponents when you're taking damage. So that's the two main ways that you're dealing damage, is through your illusions and specifically through Dispersion. The illusions get the Radiance effect, so if you buy Radiance, then all your illusions, all your Haunt illusions will do Radiance burn damage. Similarly, Diffusal Blade will also propagates through to your illusions, not just for Spectre, but for any illusion-based hero. So that's another great item. These are very cost-efficient items to boost up your damage. Now, if a team fight is all localized, Radiance isn't really going to be that amazing because the Radiance burn does not stack, but still, getting the one time is pretty nice. And it's a good sort of AoE way. It's good for cleaning up and chasing. And that's something Spectre needs to do. This is a chasing style carry. There's no lockdown here. There's no shotgun Morphling insta-kill ability. There's no Faceless Void, Chronosphere. This is a hero that needs to chase, that needs to survive in team fights to do damage. The longer you're alive, the longer that Radiance is burning. The longer they're doing the Mono Burn if you have Diffusal Blade. So that's why you build tanky. It's because this is an illusion-based carry. It's also a hero that does damage based on self. So you build tanky, you build items that benefit illusions. Things like Heart, Butterfly Manta, Diffusal Blade. The same kinds of items you get on a Phantom Lancer, to a lesser degree a Chaos Knight. A Naga Siren would be a great example if you're building as a hard carry. Okay, away we go. So, watching the map, I see Sandkane's got the scent. I say if you Burrow Strike and you hit him, I'm going to ult in, and I do just that. We're going to see if I actually get the kill. I think I'm going to, but it's extremely expensive. And this is where my map awareness fails me. I was not looking at the map properly. They had 4 heroes missing. This is a bad time to fight. I really should not be fighting here. I'm going to try and run now. Don't think I get away. Now, one mistake I make here is I dagger backwards. Even though I slow them down, it also means I stop for a moment, and I have to turn to pass that. The correct play there is probably just to dagger away and not give them a chance to close the gap. Even though you won't slow them, you still move more quickly. I might have lived. I don't think so, but either way, it would have been close. So, I continue on. I'm dead for a while. By the way, I do have buyback. But the oh, no, it's on cooldown actually. I already bought back earlier. But the problem is, I don't have my ult anyway. And if Spectre can't use his ult, it's really, or her ult, I should say, it's really not the same hero. It's not really worth buying back. It works out okay in the end. This is a hero like Faceless Void, where generally a buyback is not going to do too much for your team. If you're maxed out or you're way ahead, then yeah, it's not a bad idea. This time I've learned my lesson. I don't charge in defeat. Oh, this is a great question that someone asked. Bo Zulu asks, do you still have to shift click to go over impassable terrain, waltzed and daggered? And it actually works differently in Heroes of Newerth, which, confession, I played the game for a while. I took a break from Dota 1. In Heroes of Newerth, no matter where you click, you just get the buff of being able to walk over impassable terrain. And that's something I haven't talked about at all, is your dagger. It not only slows your opponents and makes you move faster, but you can run through trees, you can run up and down cliffs, but you have to follow the path of the dagger. Once you leave the path, you have about, I think it's 2 seconds before you lose that ability to walk through stuff. So, make sure you aim your dagger properly. If you ever need to escape, you can do things like, let's say I'm roaching right now, right? I can just dagger up into the shop, somewhere like over here. Oh, they made it so you can draw on replays. Valve, you're amazing. Oh, I love you, Val. But yeah, I can dagger up here, and then just TP out in the trees, or just continue running. But you have to follow the path of the dagger to do so. Yes, that is a really important mechanic to understand about Spectral Dagger. Okay, so in Dota 1, you had to shift-click constantly, because your hero would naturally try and use normal pathing. But if you shift-clicked, it would force them to follow the sort of impassable terrain logic, which is what this provides.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh, another mechanics point about dispersion. It does more damage if you're closer to Spectre. So, Spectre is especially potent against melee lineups or teams that generally want to be in your face. The dispersion will reflect more damage back to your opponents. If they're ranged heroes, if it's a sniper, a Marauder or something like that. Did he just ult? Wait a second. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is our he ulted way early there, but I think it's gonna work out okay in the end. And so, here's what happened, guys. Alright, so let's go back, because this is like the most amazing Rubik play I've seen. This guy should submit this to Dotacinema, honestly. This is incredible. Alright, here's what happens. I try to join this fight right away, and I believe he... Oh, okay, so I'm trying to ult in, right? I'm trying to port into the fight. He's throwing me up in the air right now. Let me pause the replay. I was up in the air from telekinesis, so I'm trying to join the fight. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And that's why. You see the creep stun? He threw me up in the air telekinesis. Then he also steals my ult before I actually leave. Steals the ult. Okay, so I finally join the fight. I'm up here. I'm taking a ton of damage. And then he ults in to counter me. By the way, that impetus really chewing me apart. So he uses my same ult, comes in, and then he's gonna zap me for the kill. That's like the biggest Rubik play I've seen in a long time. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would like to see him use it on people as well. It only, in the end, it doesn't really matter because our SK is getting pretty big. But you cannot imagine how baffled I was during that fight because I was like hitting the reality button, right? Man, I haven't even explained the basic mechanics about the hero. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so unprepared, but... Okay, if you're playing Spectre, reality... So you use your ultimate. It creates an illusion next to every enemy hero. You have 7 seconds, or 5 to 7 seconds, depending on the level of the ult, to actually port into that illusion. You don't have to do so. But you have to use this ability called Reality to port in, which does have a slight cast animation to it. A very slight one. And, well, if you're disabled, you can't use Reality. So what happened there is he throws me up in there with telekinesis. I was hitting Reality, I'm like, why the hell can't I join this fight? And then I finally figured it out, but he ends up porting and killing me. That was some Dota stuff. Yeah, I seriously feel that guy deserves to be on Dota Cinema for that. Either way, I'm dead forever. You'll notice my item progression has really slowed down compared to what it was. I'm still farming very well, but this is the thing. I'm dying. It's not even a lot. But I'm 11-3, and this is compared to 7-0-5 or something like that earlier in the game. When you play a hard carry like Spectre, who is not a great farmer before she gets Radiance, but becomes a fantastic farmer once she has one. He uses it again. Oh man, this cheeky bastard. Anyway, when you play a hero like Spectre who is a flash farmer with the right items, it's really not worth it to go for team fights unless your team needs you there. Like honestly, you will farm faster just farming waves constantly. You really will. And we see that's the mistake that I make, is engaging too much. And I ult in. Again, another mistake. I have no idea why I ult in. I have no idea why I port into their team. He gets a 4-man Berserker's Call. Could maybe turn this one around. You really want to use that ult at the right time. Like, if I had used it now, when everybody has Fatal Bonds on them, and the Warlock ult stunning them, they would all be absolutely screwed. But I mistimed the ult. I buy my Reaver, and I don't have buyback. So a couple of mistakes, and PA gets really out of hand. This is that point in the game, in a pub game, where you're like, oh crap, we're probably going to lose. They just want a team fight. And they are going to get a tier 2.
Dire's middle tower
And that's a great point as well. Thank you, Doctor. We're seeing in this game, actually, what we saw from the Rubik, that you can use Spectre ult to scout. So, global abilities like that, they can be used to scout. Now, I will say, I'd be very hesitant to do so, because even if you get some good information, unless you turn it into a kill, that means that your opponents have 2 minutes where they can move unimpeded. And in the late game, Spectre ult is one of these ultimates like Tidehunter Ravage where when it's down, you play much more aggressively than when it's up. By the way, shout out to Yahweh. Amazing play here. Just destroys them at the Roshan pit. Yahweh never does this. If you haven't watched my stream before, Yahweh he's adorable, but he's like the most bumbling fool of a player you'll ever meet. And they do get the Aegis, but he gets a kill, he slows them down, and I thought it was really funny. And we're gonna have a big team fight. I come in with the dagger, and I think I waste my ult again, unfortunately. Nope, I'm gonna go into PA, focus her down, turn my attention towards the Triad. And that's not happening. And this point is like, F you, Rubik, you're going down, man. And I do kill him. This is my heart. Something that you should try to learn to do as a carry. Spend your gold immediately unless you're saving for buyback. You're gonna see, like, I've been working on this heart forever, relatively to how fast. I got my Radiance in about 18 minutes. And I'm only completing the heart at 36, which, for anyone who's not keeping track, that's atrocious. You should have it within 8 minutes, maybe, at most, if you're farming well. But as soon as I do have the money, I buy it right away. That's something I do well in this game, after this point, is spend my gold right away. Very important skill to have, because when you die, if you've spent all your gold, you won't lose anything. Whatever you haven't spent, you have potential to lose it. And big miscommunication here. Warlock ult is dropped. I run away. I run back in. I run away again. And finally I run away. So, dagger can be used to escape. It can also be used to help your team escape. It's not the best slow, but it's a decent one. I have my ult, and every time you see me clicking back to the fight like that with the camera, I am thinking about joining the fight, but I'm just not finding the right opening. So again, especially in the late game, I'm the most important hero on the map for my team. More than the Warlock, more than the Sand King, because I am the primary source of damage. We have a Skeleton King with an Assault Caress and an Armlet. In theory, he can right-click pretty effectively, but here's the problem. They have plenty of lockdown for him. Skeleton King can be kited. He's basically just a big tank. I'm the hero that does the damage and cleans up. So if I die, my team is really fucked. Man, I'm never going to be able to do a profanity-free version of this episode of this show, am I? Oh, man. I'm sorry, guys. I'm amazed I managed to avoid doing it when casting. Yeah, this Rubik steals everything in this game. He's gonna have that ult up again. Okay, so at this point, what should I be building for my next item? I will show you what everybody has. I'm gonna actually pull the chat here. This is a good time to interact since this is a live show. What item should I build next? Assume I don't need to save for buyback, although that would be a great response. I'm sorry I stole that if you guys had in mind. But what item should I be building next based on their team, based on the hero I'm playing, based on the game state? I see S and Y, I see Manta, I see Butters. I don't know what Butters is. Butters is the character in South Park, right? Yeah. Let me actually move the chat so I can read it properly. Manta or Diffusal, MKB, LOL Butterfly, Satanic, Diffusal for the casters. That's rude. I'm not gonna respond to that one. Blade Mail. Okay, a couple of good options here. Diffusal Blade is a really good one, and the reason for that is it will hurt these squishy casters quite a bit, so we'll jump back into the game so you guys can look at things. We have a Treant Protector, Rubik, Enchantress. Treant, I'll call him a caster just because he's relying on his mana pool. He's got a small one. That Mana Bird does a lot of damage, so that's a good option, the Diffusal Blade. The other really good option is a Butterfly, because look at their team. They have a Kunkka, all physical damage. Enchantress, sure, it's actually pure damage for her ult, but it's based on auto attacks. That impetus, so you have a chance to dodge it. And most importantly is the PA with the big right click. So I believe Butterfly is the ideal choice in this situation, and that is what you're going to see me go for. Hi Zippo1, I'm glad you enjoyed that. And I was happy to cast the same game with you too. Okay, here we go. So if you're up against physical damage dealers, Evasion is a really good choice. Another great choice is Blade Mail in certain situations, but here's the problem. PA has a BKB, which means she's already not affected by Dispersion, she's already not affected by Desolate while that BKB is up. Yes, for anyone who doesn't know, BKB will block both of those damage sources. If I get a blade mail, that damage as well is blocked while BKB is up. So it actually does nothing to do with the PA. It would help me against these other heroes, but really, where's the damage coming from? The big damage is coming from PA and Kanko. The other heroes are providing a lot of disable, a lot of utility, but not really any damage. And if you're PA, of course, if you see someone building Butterfly, you go for MKB, but he's just not having the farm to do it. He's only 4k gold behind me, but it really does feel like a lot more. And I'm not sure where his gold is spent, actually, to be totally honest with you. So I'm fighting top, I see action mid, again, I ult at the map, I ulted, and this looks like it should be a decent fight. Warlock ult was used a bit early, but they actually, oh no, that was the enemy Warlock ult. Big epicenter once again. This Sand King really the MVP of the game. Shout out to Yahweh again. And I'm gonna just try and clean up. Now, I go for PA in this fight because if we can't kill PA as a group, we're not gonna be able to deal with their 1v1. At least I didn't think we were, so that's why I go for her. Generally, you do want to go for their supports, but at this point, I'm not afraid of anybody else. Nobody else is gonna be able to deal with me except for maybe that PA. It was also the Fatal Bonds, for anyone who didn't notice. They had Fatal Bonds on all of their heroes. It was doing big damage because that is a pure amplification. For every hero that's taking that epicenter damage, all the other heroes are taking extra damage because of it. And, you know, so if you hit all 5, then one of them's taking 40% for the 4 other heroes. 40% additional, so it really adds up. Okay, so you love my casting, but you think I'm so ugly that I shouldn't show my face on camera. That's, I'm not sure how to feel about this. Do you love me or do you hate me? I don't know. Well, okay, we're at that point in the game where we should be able to just run away with it. And we have another really long pause. So I am going to go for Butterfly. Now, here's something I want to point out about Butterfly, and I think this is a mistake a lot of people make. Eagle Horn is actually a really shitty item. This is a horrible item. Butterfly is an amazing item. Eagle Song is horrible. Generally speaking, get the Null Talisman first. The only reason to buy the Eagle Song is if you have the gold, and you just want to make sure that if you die, you don't waste it. But that Talisman of Evasion is going to do a lot more for you than 25 attack speed and 25 damage. Eagle Song is incredibly cost inefficient. Now, for Heart, it's a little bit different because Reaver gives you a lot of HP, and HP is always going to be good. But still, even then, I feel like the Vitality Booster, much better cost efficiency as the first piece of the item. Yeah, it's a general rule. There are some... I mean, it's a little bit better at Riki, but even then, I don't know. Okay, so again, look at how I'm playing the Spectre in these team fights, right? Let's go back about 30 seconds. Something like that. When the team fight breaks out, I wait for my team to initiate. This is a mistake you'll see a lot of Spectres make, is they want to be the first one enemy instead of the carry. Let your team go first, figure out where the enemy is, figure out a good moment to go in. If you go in too early, they'll just run away. So you want to go in when they're forced to fight. And we're seeing now they're forced to fight. Again, I try and focus those squishy supports in the back line. I get sheeped up. PA is doing some good damage here, and for a moment I was worried we wouldn't be able to deal with him. But we have an SK, and I might even die. I am going to die, and I don't have buyback. The good news is we have an SK. And I would even say I went in too early in that fight. Like, you want to bait your team when you're playing a hero like Spectre. Because you want your team to take the damage, and you want to, when you join the fight, you want it to be impossible for them to fight you. If they try and fight you, oh, chop. Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, we have 2 SKs. I meant the Skeleton King there. So I almost have my Butterfly. At this point, this is a huge item when you complete it, so I really don't want to fight until I actually complete it. Farming. I'm stuck in the trees because I'm an absolute clown. I'm out of the trees because I'm no longer a clown. It's so good to have this in fast speed, so you guys can't rub it in. And we're gonna catch PA, and without PA, I used my ult here solely, and I actually missed the dagger. I think I still get her. Please tell me I still get her. Please tell me I still get her. No, I don't get her. Oh, it's okay though. We're gonna win the fight anyway. That was an example of not canceling your dagger, but again, press S if you're misclicking, and then you can recast at the appropriate angle. Yeah, it wouldn't be an LD pub replay unless I made some hilarious mistakes, I will say that. So I still don't have my butterfly, which I really should be saving for. Like, I could have just farmed it here. Instead, we're just... Oh, there you go. It's delivered. Okay, so we have a big team fight. At this point, a lot of people go for defusal, a lot of people go for a Manta style. We're having a big team fight. I guess I should slow down for that. I'm gonna go for something a little different, and I would argue it is the best choice in this game. Oh, am I gonna die again? No, SK revives. And I'm still gonna die. No! Oh, the butterfly, man. That's why you get butterfly. If that last impetus hits, I'm dead. By the way, for anyone who doesn't know, it was recently buffed. It's now 35% evasion. I believe it used to be 30. And before that, I think it was actually 25 way back in the day. Could be wrong about that. So we fast forward, I farm. At this point, with 2200 gold, I could go for Blade Mail, I could go for Yasha. I'm actually going to save for something else, and I got flamed a lot during this game, right as I bought the item, and then was I redeemed by what happened next. So I'm not going to spoil that for you guys, but you're going to see it's pretty funny. So I farm. Okay, we have a big team fight. So I think this fight I do it properly. I don't use my ult, and I just save it for buyback if I need it. Boat's gonna hit, Tree's Gold's gonna hit, and the big epicenter on everybody! Oh man, Yahweh. Yahweh. This was his best game ever. Like, this is literally the best game of Dota Yahweh's ever had. He's played like 1,000 games. So I get an Aegis, I have 4,000 gold. What to buy? Well, y'all push mid. Oh, he just canceled his ult by accident. By the way, for anyone who didn't catch. No, oh no, he didn't. What was that?
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
And I died at the fountain, and I'm gonna feed at the fountain. I'm gonna feed at the fountain. I'm gonna feed at the fountain. Alright, so I have Aegis. I'm gonna die twice, I'm pretty sure. Oh my goodness. Let me just say right now, you really shouldn't do this in pub games, because I have actually lost games that were won simply because I dove the fountain. And let me tell you, it seems funny until you realize there's this sickening realization that you're actually going to lose the game. And then you're just so angry, at least if you care about winning at all, which I'm a pretty competitive guy, I definitely do. So, I have 2,500 gold, I ult in, I kill her off.
I'll just sharpen my spear and I'm ready to go.
Everybody's done it, but let me just tell you, that was the worst ult of my life. Oh man, this evasion is too strong, by the way. It's always 90% evasion whenever. Oh, here's a perfect example. I was like, oh, why am I not pathing through the trees? You have to run directly through them. Like, if you don't follow that path, you lose the buff. So that's why I don't run through the trees there. It works out okay in the end, though. Come on, buy the damn item. I love yelling at myself, my past self.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, this is such a good setup for me. Come on, I want my gold. I don't have my ult here because I wasted like an idiot bottom. Oh, I love Dota. So, by the way, a couple points I want to make about Dagger, which I probably should have done this at the beginning and not at the end, but you can click on a hero to target them, and if you actually target the hero, it will follow them no matter what. Now,
middle tower
like there's no dodging it if you click on the hero. You can also target the ground. Here's the benefit of targeting a hero, is you're not going to miss them, like I was just saying. But the downside is, once it hits the hero, it stops. The alternative is targeting the ground. If you target the ground, the dagger will travel exactly to the spot that you click on, and if you click too far, you'll walk until you get in range to cast it. But you can hit multiple heroes that way, so sometimes it's much better to target the ground than the hero. And also, there's a little bit less potential for misclicking. Like if you try and click on a model and you narrowly miss, then you see silly things like what happened over here, where I ended up just not actually catching PA and she got away. So sometimes, a lot of times, ground target is better. Occasionally, I would say hero target is the way to go. So I go for a basher. I immediately hit 2 bashes, right? I have a butterfly. I have good agility. I hit 3. This guy's got a. This guy. Oh boy. 4. Oh no. Where is it? 4? 5? And he's dead. I'm pretty sure there's 5 bashes there and like 8 auto attacks. Dagger in. Gonna hit some more. I was getting flamed for this pick, and then I'm immediately just bashing them constantly. Oh my goodness. And the tree's gonna ult me. He's still dead. I ult just to make sure I get the kill.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
So I think there's even one more basher. No more bashers. And I actually think basher is a very legitimate item in this game, and here's why. I'm up against 2 melee carries in the Kunkka and the PA, where they're probably going to want to go toe-to-toe with you. And if you ever have to 1v1 an enemy hero, there's nothing better than a basher for a melee hero. It's the best 1v1 item in the game, aside from maybe something like a Scythe device. But that's about double the cost. You could argue that a Manta style Diffusal Blade gives me more utility, will help in team fights. But at this point, I did feel like I had to win some 1v1s. We saw in the last fight PA was chopping me up, and Enchantress was owning me. Basher really does help deal with that. Now I beat him. And that's pretty much the game. I got lucky with the basher. Don't get me wrong. But in my defense, I had a butterfly, I had phase boots, or sorry, not phase boots. I have a lot of attack speed from this high agility, because I am an agility hero with level 25. So I actually think it's a legitimate pickup. Some may disagree. But considering the game state, and that's really my point, is you always want to build your items in the context of the game. So in this case, I'm up against a hero who has a BKB. Getting a Blade Mail, not going to be too effective if that's the primary concern. I'm up against a bunch of melee carries. Getting a basher, where we're going to stand toe-to-toe and right-click. Probably a good choice. Yeah, Diffusal Blade is decent. Now here's the problem with it, is it doesn't help you at all against that BKB. You can't use Diffusal Blade when someone's in BKB form. Or when they have it activated. So it doesn't help you there. I mean, you could go Manta style to remove some of the slows. That's decent. It also allows you to sort of juke around. It's always a good item. But I didn't feel like I was having too much trouble chasing heroes. Okay, so anyway, guys. I know there's this guy in my chat who thinks I'm so hideous that I should never show my face, but here we go. That's going to wrap it up for today. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to take 5 minutes or so to answer them, and then we're going to call it a night. And I think I'll play some pubs without my ugly mug on the screen. So if anybody has questions about Spectre, about playing a hard carry, about my items decisions, the skill build, mechanics, anything that's relevant to what we've talked about today, happy to answer your questions. Real pretty mouth. That's okay. I don't know what to say to that one. Why no Spectre on competitive scene nowadays? By Master Beavis. I really do like this question, and I will actually say, I feel Spectre is a very viable pick. But he's a hero like Lycan that you have to build a team around, and the difference between a Spectre and a Lycan is he takes a lot longer to start giving back. I think he's situational. Spectre is a hero that's very good at countering teams that rely on Blink Daggers, teams that rely on... because Blink Daggers are cancelled by that ultimate. This is where Zeus sort of fits in as well. He's very good at punishing squishy lineups as well. Here's the problem with Spectre, and the problem with a lot of hard carries is he's not mobile early game. He has mana issues, but he doesn't really want to be building mana regen items. And he requires a lot of farm, and he's no lane control. Compare Spectre to a Morphlane, right? Morphlane can win a lot of 1v1s against really good solos, like Invoker. We've seen Morphlane just dominate Invoker 1v1 mid before, and Invoker's a top tier solo. Spectre can't even hold his own against most average heroes, so you do have to build a team around him. You need strong solos in your other lanes, maybe a good jungler, and then ideally some other global presence to sort of complement. Like Prophet, I think, is his best partner in crime. But I do feel he has a place, especially as sort of a niche pick, and He's also good against kind of glass cannon style heroes, like for example a Morphling. If Morphling goes for that shotgun build and tries to use shotgun on the Spectre who's got some items, maybe even a blade mail, he'll literally just kill himself trying to kill you. Why Poor Man's Shield not a Vanguard? Ask Panda's BDF. The main reason to go Poor Man's Shield early is if you don't want to build a Vanguard and you want the extra damage block. In this case, I probably should have just left it at a stout shield entirely. I didn't need a Ring of Health because I wasn't being harassed. It was a solo conquer. So don't always feel like you have to adhere to those standard item builds. Treads is pretty bad on Spectre, in my opinion. It does give your illusions a little extra HP or damage, but it's fairly insignificant, and if you have Phase Boots and Dagger, you basically move at max move speed in that Dagger path. And once you have a Yasha, I believe it is a hasted Spectre. He's a hero that needs to chase. Exactly what Holy One is saying. I think I said it earlier. Spectre is not a hero like Faceless Void where he's got Bash and he's got a Chronosphere to hold you in place. He doesn't have instant burst. He doesn't have built-in great chase like Waveform. He's got decent chasing. So you want to amplify that so that he becomes a good chaser. Any other questions? Vlad's on Lifestealer. Vlad's is not an orb, so it stacks with all passives. I have no idea what that has to do with Spectre or today's content, but there you go. I'm too nice. I should be like Lumi and just not answer questions if they're not 100% topical. Alright. I think you guys have had enough of this content. What do you do to counter Spectre? Well, if you want to deal with him late game, a BKB carry is a great way to deal with him. I feel Skeleton King is actually a great counter as well. Because Spectre is very reliant on that ultimate and that big team fight just to sort of wipe people out. And if you have 2 lives, oh, you use your ultimate, I die once. Now you gotta kill me again. So that's one option. If you want to go late game, BKB carries because they don't take dispersion damage, they don't take desolate damage. They won't even take the radiance damage if you go for the radiance. Or Diffusal Blade. All 4 of Spectre's like primary damage sources are blocked. The other way, of course, is Spectre's a hard carry, requires a lot of farm. Play a pushing lineup, play aggressively early on. Gank the Spectre. Even if Spectre maxes Dispersion as her very first skill, she's still very frail until she gets a Vitality booster. Ideally, a little bit of extra HP, maybe some damage block. She is very squishy, very gankable early on. I was told I'm supposed to look at the camera. If it's too much, I could stop. I think that's going to do it as far as the questions go, guys. You're kind of getting off topic here. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate it. If you want to watch more in the future, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and follow me on YouTube just for good measure. The more followers I have, the more views I get, the more I will be able to do this stuff in the future. So if you enjoy it, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mom, tell your dog, and tune in next week. And actually, I would say I feel like this was not very informative, and I do apologize. I've been casting like 12 hours a day for the past week, pretty much nonstop. So if it wasn't the level that you've come to expect, I promise you it will be better once I have more time to prepare, which should be for next week. Your mailbox. Alright, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. I will be playing some pubs, but for the VODs, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see y'all next week. Actually, I'll see you all tomorrow on Luminous's channel. Twitch.tv/luminousinverse, same time. I want to say same time, same place, but no, just same time, 10 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. Pacific. We're going to be doing the King Challenge. If you don't know what that's all about, go to dotacommentaries.com. There will be a link on the right side and the side menu where you can find out more about it. And it should be a lot of fun. But as far as this show goes, I will see you guys all next week on Monday.